What is going on, everybody? My name is the California Cougar, and today I am going to be doing a cast assessment for the new season of Survivor Game Changers. I am a huge Survivor fan, for those of you that don't know, and Survivor is going strong on its 34th season now. So yeah, 34 seasons in, they're still going pretty strong. And I gotta say, looking at this cast, some of my favorite players are on here. And how I'm going to assess them, I guess, or I'm going to rank them each from 1 to 5 on whether or not I think they're a game changer. 1 being they're not a game changer at all, and then 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is they're one of the biggest game changers. But yeah, anyway, that's it for an intro. It's a pretty short intro. Let's get right into the cast assessment. First off, we have Andrea. She was on Season 22, Redemption Island, and Season 26, the Caramoan season. Now, Andrea is one of those players that I'm kind of unsure about. I do think she has a lot of potential to be a game changer. I don't really think she's hit that yet, but I do see a lot of potential in her. Redemption Island, I know she tried to make a move against Boston Rob at the last second, but it was too late because Boston Rob still had an idol, so she got blindsided. And then she got blindsided again in the Caramoan with an idol in her pocket. So, yeah, I do think she has potential. And she tried to get rid of Brenda, I remember, because Brenda was supposedly one of the bigger threats. So, yeah, I do see her making big moves. I do think she has potential to be a game changer. I just don't think she's quite there yet. So, I'm kind of in the middle on Andrea. I'm going to give her a 3 for now. Up next, we have Aubrey. Aubrey from Survivor Co. Wrong. A lot of people argue that Aubrey should have won that season. I beg to differ. I think Michelle was one of the most underrated players that season, and I'm super glad she won. Personally, there's somebody else I think should have won that season, but I'll get to him later because he's also on this cast. But Aubrey, I'm going to be in the minority, but I think Aubrey is overrated. I think she is a fine player. I don't think she's anything special, but I don't think she is a game changer by any stretch of the imagination. But again, like Andrea, I do think she has potential to be a game changer. Maybe I'll like her a lot better this season than I did last season. And she kind of had a hero story last season, so I'm curious to see where she'll take that this season. So yeah, I'm also going to get, it was hard to decide between 2 and 3 for Aubrey, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'll give her a 3 as well. Up next, we have Michaela from Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X, the most recent season, Season 33. This was one of my favorite seasons, and pre-merge, Michaela was one of my favorite players. She was a beast in challenges. She brought that Ikabula tribe from behind at least a couple of times that I can remember. And she did show some potential to be a very good player. I think had she actually made the merge, she could have gone far. She could have won a lot of challenges, and she probably would have had a good shot at winning. But then Jay and Will decided to screw her over, so now she's back on this season. And I'm curious to see where she goes. I'm going to give Michaela a 4 for now. I mean, she didn't really show much as a game changer last season, but that's mostly because she got screwed over by Jay and Will. So I think if she's given the chance, if she makes the merge, she could be a very strong threat to win. Alright, up next, Brad Culpepper. Oh boy, Brad Culpepper from Survivor Blood vs. Water. I gotta say, I was very, very disappointed with his outing in Blood vs. Water. He was trying to make big moves, at least that's what he called them. I mean, he blindsided John, who is probably his closest ally, very early on in the season. I think unnecessarily early, in my opinion. And then he ended up paying for it and getting voted off himself at the next tribal council. So yeah, I think Brad was trying to play too hard. I'm curious to see where he goes this season, though. Could he redeem himself this season, or will he make the same mistake he did last season? But yeah, overall, I wanted to like him. I did kind of like him for the first few episodes, but then he just became a bitter disappointment. Hopefully he redeems himself this season, but again, he's definitely not a game changer. I'm going to give Brad a 2 for now. Up next, Sandra. Oh man, Sandra. 2-time winner, the only 2-time winner in Survivor history. Survivor Pearl Island, Season 7, and Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, Season 20. Now, Sandra, is she a game changer? Yes and no, I think. I think yes, because she's the only 2-time winner. And no, because she didn't really seem to make any other moves. Her whole mantra was, as long as it ain't me. And yes, it worked. But I don't really know if I could consider that a game-changing move. But, you know what? Again, like with Aubrey, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I think Sandra is a very good player overall. I do think she got lucky in Pearl Islands because Lil was too stupid to take the biggest villain and most unlikable guy that season, Johnny Fairplay, to the final 2 with her. So yeah, I think that was just straight up luck. Heroes vs. Villains, I think, was more on a skillful level. But yeah, I'm going to give Sandra a 3 for now. Because, again, she is a good player. She's the only 2-time winner. I don't think anybody else is ever going to be able to say that. Like, even if I were to play Survivor twice, I don't think people could win Survivor twice anymore. And as for this season, I will be surprised if she's not the first one voted off her tribe. I will be very surprised, because if people are really that dumb to let her stay around till the merge, then they don't deserve to be called game changers. Anyway, moving on. Sierra Easton. Alright. So, Sierra Easton was on Survivor Season 27, Blood vs. Water, and Survivor Season 31, Cambodia, or Second Chance, as a lot of people call it. Blood vs. Water, I loved her. I loved Sierra in Blood vs. Water. Like, she didn't really seem to be that strong pre-merge, but once it got to the post-merge, and she was able to team up with her mom, that's when it got really interesting for her. And then she made 2 very big moves in the post-merge, one of which she voted out her mom. That's what she's known for. But really, I think the better move she made that season was forcing a rock draw, because she knew that she was number 4 in her alliance, so she decided to turn on Tyson, Jervis, and Monica and go with Hayden and Katie and force a rock draw. And ultimately it didn't work out, but had Tyson drawn that white rock instead of Katie, I think Sierra would have won that season. So, yeah, is she a game changer? In a sense, yes. Now, Cambodia. I did not like her nearly as much in Cambodia. I was actually very disappointed with her performance, because she was just so negative that season. Like, my God. So negative. Like, she was always like, make big moves. These people don't want to play the game. Like, excuse me, this is Survivor Second Chance. Everyone's playing as hard as they can. Like, Kelly Wentworth's finding idols, and Jeremy is trying to solidify his alliance with Spencer and Tasha and the rest of them, and the rest of the castaways. People are constantly making sure that they're not the ones voted out. But yeah, that's really it for her. I'm gonna give Sierra a 4 for now. Like, if it was just based on Blood vs. Water alone, I'd probably give her a 5, but I gotta go based on past gameplay overall, so I'm gonna give her a 4. Alright, up next, Suri. I'm just gonna give her a 5 right now, because she has one of the best Survivor storylines, I think, that Survivor's ever seen. Last season we had David, who was kind of the same way as Suri. Like, if you watch Millennials versus Gen X and you saw David play, Suri was kind of the same way. She was so out of her element. She was afraid of leaves, of all things, in Panama, Exile Island, Season 12. But then she came to be one of the stronger players that season. She was constantly strategizing, making moves, making sure that she would not be the one voted out. And then in Micronesia, Season 16, I think she kind of did the same thing. And again, it almost worked for her. I think if she had made the final two if there was a final three instead of a final two that season, she probably could have won. And heroes versus villains, she was kind of a letdown. She was trying to make moves, but she ultimately got screwed over by another player I'm going to be talking about later. Can't wait to talk about him. But yeah, overall, Suri definitely, I think, gets a 5. She has shown that even couch potatoes like myself could get up off the couch and play Survivor, go out of their element, and just live in the wilderness for 39 days, not knowing how to camp or anything, and just be a really good, strong player. That's what Suri is to me. Unfortunately, though, I do think she's going to be an early target. I'd be surprised if she made the merge somehow. But yeah, that's really what I have to say. Alright, up next is Haley. I don't remember anything about her at all. She was in Worlds Apart, season 30, and she was on the No Collar tribe, and she was in an alliance with Jen and Joe. That's really all I can say about her. I don't remember her at all. I don't think she made any moves. I mean, honestly, I would have rather seen Jen back than Haley, because at least Jen found an idol and actually used it to her advantage, and it worked for her. I mean, yeah, she was kind of done with the game after Haley went out, and especially after Joe lost that immunity challenge, so she kind of wanted to sacrifice herself to save Joe, but you know what? She was at least a more memorable player than Haley was. So yeah, I would replace Haley with Jen, and for that reason, Haley's going to get a 1, because I just don't remember anything about her. But who knows? Maybe Haley could surprise everybody and go far, go to the end. Or she'll just be a goat and just get dragged there. Who knows? Alright, up next, Malcolm, one of my favorite players. Malcolm is probably my favorite player to not win, at least as of right now, because he got kind of screwed in the Philippines. I mean, we knew it was going to be either him or Denise who won that game. Ultimately, it was Denise that outlasted him at the end, so Denise was the one that won the game. But yeah, I think Malcolm, he could have a lot of potential to win. Yeah, sure, he is kind of cocky, and he is kind of arrogant. He says he will backstab people if he needs to, but that's kind of how you have to play Survivor. I mean, it works for some people, like Richard Hatch, for example. It worked for him. He had that really cocky attitude. He was cutthroat. He was a villain, but he still won. So yeah. Will people let Malcolm go far? I don't know. I think he'll make the merge, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to make it all the way to the end again, like he did in the Philippines. So we'll see. But yeah, once again, love Malcolm. Really hope he goes far. I'd love to see him win. Malcolm's going to get a 5. I think he is a game changer. He came back from having his tribe almost decimated. It was just him and Denise. Just those two left out of the 6 people. And he managed to outlast almost everyone else. And I think if he was in the end, he could have won. So yes, that's it for Malcolm. Up next, Sarah. Sarah from Survivor Cagayan. Oh yeah, and by the way, Malcolm also made one of the best moves in the Caramoan season with the idol play. Like, he brings up the second idol, hands it over to Eddie. Reynolds has immunity, so he's safe. And they used that to try and get people to flip. Ultimately, it didn't work, but it was one of his best moves. Not to mention finding an idol right in front of Andrea's face. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, that's it for Malcolm. Anyway, Sarah. Sarah is someone that I am really unsure about, because I don't remember too much about her. I know she was a cop. She wasn't very good friends with another player that I'm going to be bringing up later, and I think that's the whole reason why she's back, is because of another certain player that I'll get to later. I think it's because he is also back in this season. So yeah. Do I think she has potential? Yes, she does. But do I think she's a strong player? Not really. I mean, she got blindsided. I mean, she was in the middle, in one of the most powerful positions. She got too comfortable, and they ultimately used somebody else to blindside her. So, yeah. Ultimately, Sarah, I can't consider her a game changer. I'm going to give Sarah a 2 for now. So, up next, we have Ozzy. Another one of my favorites. This is his 4th season, just like with Suri. He was on Season 13, the Cook Islands, Season 16, Micronesia, and South Pacific, Season 23. And now he's on Season 34, Game Changers. So, yeah. Ozzy is probably the biggest challenge beast Survivor has ever seen. He won 5 immunity challenges in Cook Islands. I don't think he won any in Micronesia, but he did find a hidden immunity idol. He also found a hidden immunity idol in South Pacific. And he won so many Redemption Island duels. He came back from Redemption Island twice. Hell, he even volunteered to go to Redemption Island so that his tribe would go in with the numbers. So, yeah, that's a big move on his part, I think. I see that as a big move. Some people see it as a really stupid move, but I see it as one of the bigger moves. Yeah, sure, he could have gotten rid of Cochran and had a chance of bringing Christine into the alliance, or into the Savai Alliance. But who knows? She might have gone with Upolu as well. Who knows about that season? And yeah, I really, really, really wish he had won South Pacific. He was one immunity challenge away from winning that game. Such a bummer. This season, I will be surprised if they let him make the merge, because if he makes the merge, he could easily just win immunity after immunity and just annihilate the competition. So yeah, I'd be surprised if anybody let him near that merge. But if he does make the merge, good on him. I hope he can get to the end and maybe pull out a win this time. Maybe he'll surprise people. Maybe he'll make a lot more moves this season. Maybe he'll get a good alliance. Who knows? As for my rating for Ozzy, I'm going to give Ozzy a 4 for now. Alright, up next, Caleb. I am so glad he's back, but he should have been brought back on a later season. Not on a season called Game Changers, because Caleb is definitely not a game changer. He wasn't even in the game long enough to make any big moves, I don't think. He never even went to Tribal Council. He got medevaced. So yeah, I think he should have been brought back on a later season. I did like him a lot in Koron season 32, but overall I can't say he's a game changer. So for that reason, like, I hope he goes far. I really hope he goes far, and I'm glad he got a second chance, but he's not a game changer. I gotta give Caleb a 2. Gotta be completely honest. Maybe he'll surprise me this season. I hope he does, because I really liked him in Koron, but I'm going off based on if they changed the game or not. So sorry, Caleb. Not this time. All right. Next, Troyzan. Troyzan. This is my island. You can't beat me. That's the quote he's most well known for in One World. He was in Survivor One World, and he is probably the only guy, the only man on that season that had any common sense in his brain at all. I mean, I'll get to that later in my season 24 review. I'm going to be reviewing each season, by the way, but yeah, he was the only one with common sense. And even the women that season were awful, but that's to be discussed in the review. But yeah, I am glad to see him back. I do think he got kind of screwed in One World. I mean, he was the one that actually found out that Kim was gunning for him, or Kim was going to turn on the men and make an all-women's alliance, but no one wanted to join him. None of the other men wanted to join him until it was too late. So that's why he got screwed. So yeah, I do hope that he does better this season. I think he could go far. I'm going to give Troyzan, I'll give him a 3. I mean, I know that might not sound like a lot, but he didn't really have any moves to make that season because he was on the bottom the whole time. So yeah, I'll give Troyzan a 3. Up next, Zeke. Also from Millennials Gen X, our most recent season. I loved Zeke. He was a lot of fun to watch. He had a lot of energy in him. And overall, I think he's a good player. He, like Troyzan, he got kind of screwed. He pitted himself against David, and he was ultimately on the wrong side of that alliance. Will screwed him over, and Adam also played his hidden immunity idol to save Hannah that night, which basically guaranteed that Zeke was going home. But yeah, I do think Zeke has potential to be a strong player. I'm going to give him a 4. Because I really liked him on Millennials versus Gen X. It's good to see him again. So yeah, I'll give him a 4 for now. Up next, Sierra Dawn Thomas. Why? What did she do this season? Like, and she was in the Worlds Apart like Haley. But what did she do? She didn't make any moves at all. Like, all she was there for was to be the pretty girl that the guys could really like. She was basically eye candy for the guys that season. That's all I can really say about her. She didn't make any moves. Like, all she really was doing was trying to go to the end with Dan because she knew she could beat Dan at the end. That's it. But yeah. Sierra, game changer? Yeah, no, she's not a game changer. I mean, maybe she will be this season. Who knows? Maybe she'll pull a Kelly Wentworth, come out and surprise everybody, and almost make it all the way to the end. Maybe she'll find a couple hidden immunity idols. Who knows? But yeah, as for my reading with her, yeah, she's a 1. She's a 1. Who would I replace her with? Kim Spradlin from Survivor 1 World. She was the best player that season, and she's also good eye candy for the guys, and she makes really good moves. She makes game-changing moves. She's like the female Boston Rob, pretty much. She made a lot of good moves. She had some great alliances, and I think it would be interesting to see her and Troyzan on the same season again. Like, maybe they'll have some sort of rivalry. Like, say, Sarah and Tony will have. Yeah, I'm going to get to Tony later, but yeah, moving on. I think Kim should have been back instead of Sierra. Up next, JT. Yes. Game changer. He's a 5. Some might argue that he made one of the dumbest moves in Survivor history, and yes, he did. Survivor Heroes versus Villains. He gave his hidden immunity idol to Russell. And it ended up being his downfall. Like, Parvati used his idol to vote him out. So yeah, dumb move on his part. Other than that, I don't really see any flaws in JT. I think he's a very fun player to watch. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My camera decided to stop recording for whatever reason. I don't really know why. But yeah, I was talking about JT. And yeah, as I was saying, I think he would be a very fun player to watch. Survivor Tocantins, Survivor 18, one of my favorite Survivor seasons of all time. He was in that alliance with Steven all the way to the end. And Steven actually played in Survivor Second Chance. And now JT's back for his 3rd season. He won Tocantins. He played a perfect game in the Tocantins. He was, I think, the first player to not receive a single vote against him. Like, before, up until the final 2, and then in the final 2 receive all 7 jury votes. I think he's the first player to do that. I know Cochran did that in the Caramon, but yeah, JT did that in the Tocantins, and that Southern accent. Who can resist the Southern accent? And he's just a really likable guy. He's one of my top 5 all-time favorite players. I'd say one of my top 3 winners. He's just so likable, and he tried to do more of a villainous approach in Heroes vs. Villains because he did blindside Sari. By the way, it's interesting to see him and Sari back on the same season. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, overall, love JT. He definitely gets a 5. definitely a game changer. I can't wait to see him this season. And I think if any winner coming back this season could win a second time and tie Sanders' record, it's JT. So, yeah. Up next, we have Ty from Survivor Co-Wrong, Survivor Season 32. I loved Ty. And personally, I think if anybody should have beaten Michelle in that season, it should have been Ty. Why? Because he was fighting advantages. He had an extra vote advantage. He found several hidden immunity idols. And he had chances to use a super idol. He didn't. I wish he did, but he didn't. And his love for animals is one that, like, not a lot of people talk about. But, I mean, a chicken that they won on a reward survived to the end of the season. Mark the chicken. That was because of Ty. So, yeah, I can't wait to see Ty back. In terms of moves, I don't really think... He didn't really make too many memorable moves, but I think he made enough to warrant him a win. I'm going to give Ty a 4. Alright, Jeff Varner. This guy has some potential. He really has some potential to be a really good player. And I think he got kind of screwed in the Cambodia season because Abby Maria, one of my least favorite players of all time, decided it would be a good idea to blindside him. So yeah, I think he got kind of screwed. And in Survivor Australia, the Australian Outback, he stepped down for some peanut butter. And he claims to have not touched peanut butter since then. Who knows if that's true or not, but yeah, I can't wait to see Varner back. I see a lot of potential. I wish he had lasted longer. Maybe he'll make the jury this time, hopefully, because he hasn't made the jury yet. He just barely made the merge in Australian Outback. Like, he was like that one player that made the merge but didn't make the jury. Yeah. I can't wait to see Varner back. I see a lot of potential in him. I can't really say he's a game changer because he hasn't really made any game-changing moves. But I do like him, so let's see how he is. I'm going to give Varner a 3. Up next, Tony. 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. He's one of the biggest game changers on this list. He dominated Survivor Cagayan, season 28. He dominated that season. So, yeah, I'm so glad Tony's back. Hopefully he'll make more big moves this season. Maybe he'll find 20,000 more idols and 2 Tyler Perry idols or super idols, special idols, whatever you want to call them. But, yeah, maybe he'll find some more idols, make more big blindsides. I mean, he made for one of the most entertaining players ever. Like, his feud with Cass and, like, all the llama talk and all that stuff. He just lashed out at Cass several times. He made a lot of people laugh. He was also kind of a jerk, but at the same time, people were being a jerk to him. Like, Cass was a jerk to him. So, yeah, of course. And yeah, of course, the blind side of LJ and Jeffra and Sarah. His paranoia was kind of over the top, but that's part of being a game changer. Like, you got to be dominant. You got to make sure you're on the dominant side. He and Wu he basically carried Cagayan, and Wu was there with him the whole time. Wu decided to go up against the best because he was a noble man like that. It ultimately cost Wu and gave Tony the win. So on that, you can say Tony was kind of lucky because I think Wu could have won against Cass if he had taken Cass instead of Tony. But yeah, I'm glad he took Tony. I'm glad Tony won, and I can't wait to see him again. Ultimately, I think he's going to be a pretty early boot, especially with Sandra on his tribe. Sandra's going to try and gun for him, I think. I think Sandra's going to see Tony as the new Russell or the new Johnny Fairplay. So yeah, we'll see where he ends up. And last but not least, why is this player back? Debbie from Survivor Co-Wrong. She was so obnoxious and annoying. Like, why bring her back? I mean, that's probably the reason why people are bringing her back, because she had like 27 different jobs or something like that. Like, seriously, every interview she had, like, she would be teacher in one interview, chemist in another interview. Like, that's probably the most memorable thing about her. And she was crazy, she was annoying, obnoxious. I did not like Debbie at all. And I don't think she's a game changer at all. Like, why she's brought back on a season called Game Changers, I will never understand. But, yeah, I could not stand Debbie. Debbie gets a 1. Debbie definitely gets a 1. Now, as for who I would replace Debbie with, that's a little bit of a tough call. But, I mean, what's a good female player that deserves another shot but didn't really get one? I mean, you already have Sierra back and all that. I don't know. I personally don't know. Like, maybe bring back Brenda again from Survivor Nicaragua. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I already suggested Kim. I mean, Millennials versus Gen X didn't really have any strong female players. Neither did Co-Wrong, really, besides Michelle and Aubrey and a few others. But yeah, maybe Kelly Wentworth. Bring back Kelly Wentworth again. I mean, I'd like to see her play again. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Debbie. Just no. I hope if she's the first one voted off, I will not have a problem with that at all. So yeah, there's my thoughts on the Survivor Game Changers cast. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the Survivor Game Changers cast in the comments below. And are you excited for Survivor Game Changers? Survivor Game Changers premieres next Wednesday night, I believe. So, yes, I will not be doing episode by episode reviews like I did with Millennials versus Gen X, but I will be reviewing the season as a whole once the season's over. So yeah, expect that in the future. And once again, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to stay tuned for more movie reviews in the future. And until the next review, I will see. My name is the California Cougar, and always remember to say California Cool. I will see you all next time. Peace.